Welcome to All About The Gers. Brought to you by our sponsors. The JR Group. Plugged In Business Solutions. DB Dental Care. Reflex Blue. The Right Software. Dev Provider. And Avia Signs. Our chosen charity partner is the Second Chance Project. We are now official agents for the Rangers Lotto. Find out more at www.allaboutthegers.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to All About The Gers. It's myself, Ricki and Neill, joined by Charlie and Derek. How you doing, guys?
Very well. My can of Coca-Cola at the side there.
I know you were showing us a wee can of Foster's there. I don't know how you can drink that stuff.
The best Foster's. My fucking hand looks very yellow.
The size of my head.
You're not having a can of Foster's on a Tuesday night, are you?
You're right, I'm having a can of Foster's, pal.
You're starting to enjoy this podcast for the house too much, I think, Charlie.
What you got in that? Hey, Derek?
Anyway.
Cup of tea, mate. Cup of tea after my dinner. Bologna 3-0 up and cruising. Blues played an early night, so pretty sensible. So they're in a good position at the minute.
Good on them.
Brilliant. There's already loads of comments coming in via social media. There's Paul saying, looks like Malcolm Offord will not be our chairman as talks have broken down. So that's just done. Anyway, what did you got to the weekend?
On you go, Charlie.
Oh, Derek had a quiet weekend, did you, Derek? Eh?
Yes, very quiet. No, listen, we had a wee gig in Saturday night. Thornley, is it Thornley Hill? Aye. Great crowd. They're brilliant. So we enjoyed that, and then Sunday I went to watch the Famous. Then get down the road, and there was the turning on of the Christmas lights in Larkhall. So it was a good wee weekend for me.
Well, I went with Derek to Fall in the Bank. My 2014, sorry. My 2014s were a wee presentation, and Derek picked me up at 6:30, and I had a few shandies.
Yeah, and by the way, brilliant. Actually, I took him home, and he wanted to go home, which is a real bonus. Charlie Miller behaving himself.
You always want to go home, Derek.
Oh, I do. You know me, I'm too old now. I'm too old to go.
Anyway.
Hey, Charlie.
My 09's played Devon Vale from just up above Aberdeen, and Sunday we beat them in the Scottish Cup because that's why I wanted to go home early so I could get up and watch that game, and we beat them 3-1. Lovely people. There were obviously a few Aberdeen fans, and there were a few wee what do you call it, comments, but on a whole they were very good, and we won, so that was the main thing. So we play St Anthony's in Linwood at 3:30 on Saturday. I think it's a Scottish Cup. I don't know if it's the last 16 or whatever it is, but it came very quickly after last week. But the kids are doing well, and that's why I went home early, Derek. So
good man.
Now,
good stuff.
No, Charlie, I actually seen quite a few comments on Twitter just saying how well your academy was, and well done to you for getting to the next round and all that. So that's brilliant news.
No, it's great news, mate. It's just it's not down to me. It's down to the coaches. We Robbie Woods and Munko Benny help, and they take the kids. I've kind of stepped back and take the 14s, and they've done amazing. Devon Vale were very competitive. It wasn't a great spectacle. It was one of the ones where you think, oh, by the way, he's a Pele, he's a Maradona, or anything like that. But it was a tight game. And both teams had very good football players, but we kind of cancelled each other out. And that's the way some of these kids' games happen. But we got a result. That was the most important thing. And it was very nice of Devon Vale, obviously, travelling down from Devon Vale, just up past Aberdeen. And they gave a great account of themselves. Lovely people, lovely kids, and it was a pleasure to have them.
Excellent. Anyway, we've got quite a lot to talk about. Obviously, the game against Nice was a result I wasn't expecting. Derek, do you think it was the fact that Nice weren't actually good on the night? They had a bit of an off night, but they have actually had quite a good run in over the past 6 games. But do you think it was a case of they had an off night, or Rangers actually done well?
A bit of both, Ricki, to be honest with you. I mean, they were unbeaten at home this season. So I was expecting a really tough game. So the result did surprise me, I've got to be honest with you. But when we kind of knew just before the game that they had a few suspensions, a few injuries, but still I expected more of a game. Do you know what was great? That it was a comfortable night's work for us. It's probably one of the few games, well, probably the only game this season that I've been able to sit back and enjoy, because we were in command pretty much for the off. So we were, and it's just good to see all that now, that travelling support that went over there, that they could have, I know there was a few kind of issues in terms of how the police handled them, but they certainly would have enjoyed the 90 minutes. Igman getting a couple of goals, good performance. And we kind of expected this because we spoke about it last time out, that we expected us to get a positive result. I was thinking, coming away with a draw would have been first class, but to win 4-1, no, Ricki, it could have been more. I think even Charlie would agree. That game could have been an 8-9-1. So I think there was a few more goals to be had. But listen, we can't complain. When you go away up against whoever you're playing against, whether they've got issues in terms of suspensions and maybe their first team players no playing, to win 4-1 was a brilliant result.
Oh, Ricki, Derek.
Charlie, what was your thoughts on the game?
It was a ridiculous. I don't think Nice were very good. I don't think they had their full squad, but that's not a problem. And I thought, and we did say in the channel last week that we think we could win. I think I said one each or 2-1 we could win. And then we'd probably beat St Johnstone 1-0 on the Sunday, which kind of happened. I didn't expect 4-1 in Nice. I thought Nice would put out a better showing, but we take it all day long. I just thought they were poor, but I thought we played very well.
And they lost their captain and Ricki. What was it, 10 minutes into the game, 10, 15 minutes. And then I don't know if you remember the boy Pablo Rosario who took the armband. I tell you what, that's one of the worst performances I've witnessed for a player in a long time. He had an absolutely nightmare. But that's no our problem. You've still got to go out and beat who's in front of us, and we've certainly done that.
Right, sorry, what were you saying, Charlie?
I said it was Rangers' best player, and it was fucking incredible. We'll take it all day long. I just the boys were amazing the other night, and by the way, we don't know who they're missing and who they should be playing and whatever. It's like if Nice come out to us and we play them at home, or for instance Leon, and the amount of players we're missing, they don't understand who they are or whatever. But you've got to beat the team in front of you, and I thought Nice on Thursday night was, for me, the best game of the season. I thought they were brilliant. And Nice are ahead of Leon. We have to remember that. But Nice have injuries. But Leon, I think, gave them a tanking on Sunday 4-1. But I really do think it was a great performance, an all-round performance. But then we go back to Sunday again, and we have to think about God Almighty. There's still the severe lack of pace in the team when we have to try and get past teams who sit in and whatever. We don't seem to have players who want to take defenders on or just pass. And as I said, I didn't see much of the game on Sunday, unfortunately, because my own Nines were playing against Devon Vale in the Scottish Cup. But the performance has got to be better. I think we should be better in higher up in the areas where we want to hurt teams, and at the moment we don't seem to be like that.
Right. We'll come to that game in a wee minute. I'm just going to. I've got the group, the table for the Europa League just now. So Rangers are currently sitting 8th with 10 points. Just under them, you've got Tottenham and FCSB as well. Derek, are you quite happy with where we're standing now? Do you think we can progress?
Oh, I'm delighted. Honestly, I mean, the form in Europe's been really good. There's reasons for that, because when we go up against the European opposition, they're a wee bit more open in terms of they want to have a go, they want to attack us. That leaves space for us to go and get into, where we can hurt the teams, and at times we've done that. So that's how it's been. The European campaign it's been excellent so far. And listen, Nice, I know we could go on about it, because it was quite bizarre at times how poor they were, because of their record, because they are a good side, but they should have been set up better. So they should have for their manager, because the structure of their side, and they were so open, it was unbelievable. But again, we've already touched on it. Charlie said it as well. That's no our problem. But our European form has been phenomenal. It seems, is it a case of the players rise to the occasion? Is it maybe because there's less pressure on us because we're not expected to win? So the guys obviously give us a better performance. I think it's a wee bit of everything. If you put that in the mix, that's why we've done ever so well. So long may it continue. We've got a few really difficult ones coming up, but it's something that, again, the players are enjoying playing in Europe, and it's shown in the performances so far.
Mm-hmm. Charlie, there's a sharpish staunch. He's saying the league's gone, need to concentrate on the cup double and go as far as we can in Europe. What do you think of those comments?
Well, I think we're going to struggle to get back into the league situation unless Aberdeen miraculously beat Celtic tomorrow. I think it will not happen. I know they get a point off them at Parkhead early in the season, but they get a right good doing it in the semi-final of the cup. But Aberdeen's, see, to be fair, Aberdeen and Celtic are not our worry at the moment. Rangers is our worry at the moment. The way we're playing and the way we are not getting about the pitch. But Europe, as Derek said, Europe, we're all over the pitch. We're intelligent. We look good. We look good football players. We look defensively very sound. Our goalkeeper looks happy. But then we come and play against Johnstone. And as I said last week, I think we'd struggle against Johnstone. If teams open up against us, we've got a chance. But Celtic will open up against us in the cup final in a couple of weeks' time. And we will probably, hopefully not, play the same stupid open way as we have been at Parkhead in the last few years. We play the way we've been playing in Europe, bring in one or two others, maybe take Cherny out or whatever. But can we win the League Cup final against them? Of course we can. But we can't be 3-0 doing after 10 minutes. We've been like in the last maybe 30 minutes, we've been like the last 3 games at Parkhead. So we have to make sure we're in the game. And if we're in the game, we can win the game. But we still have to put our best players in their best positions. And we're not doing that. Bajrami, who should be number 10. Or Cherny, who I think is a number 10, but he might not think he is. But I just think if we've got our best players in the best positions, we've got a great chance.
Right. Derek, there's Paul. He's saying, I think the way we play in the league comes down to Clement's tactics. And to be honest, see, after the game at Nice, one of the first things I thought about is, oh God, we've got St Johnstone at the weekend. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be thinking like that after a game. But do you think it is down to Clement's tactics in the league?
Well, I think it's everybody knows how we're going to set up when the 4-2-3-1. He doesn't change that structure. When he makes the changes, it's just light for light. So it gives the opposition that opportunity, to prepare well for us. And St Johnstone, under Valakari, their new manager, over the course of the last 5-6 games, I've watched them a couple of times, and they play some good stuff. And I expected a tough game because there's one thing for sure. When you get away from home, certainly in Scotland, certainly Rangers, teams are up for it big time. But it's always been the case. It always will be the case. But I thought we were going up against a decent football side. I thought they had a wee bit of pace and power up top. I think the boy Nicky Clark, he's a clever player in there, and across that midfield with the boy Carey, Sprangler, you've got wee Holt in there. They've got good football players, and they dominated us for the first 20 minutes. I think the boy Kimpioka had a good opportunity in the first 20-25 minutes, but they had a few balls into the box, and we looked suspect defensively, but that was down to Proper. Proper was. Listen, it doesn't look as if the boy's going to cut it in our game. I think he's actually come out already, Ricki, and says that he doesn't feel comfortable with the physicality, with the aggression, with maybe even the speed of our game. But listen, hey, welcome to Scotland. This is what it's all about. So I think we've got an issue there. I think we've got a little bit of a problem because what we witnessed in the second half when Balogun came on, we looked more comfortable, more assured, and I think the players in front of Balogun, like the Raskins, wee Barron, the other players, I think they felt more reassured with Balogun and Suter at the back, and it helped us big time. But again, if you look at St Johnstone getting into that second half as well, they lost one of their better players, Carey. They lost Nicky Clark after 60 minutes as well. So I think when they lose 2 or 3 of their best players in the second half, it really helped us because we dominated the second half without creating too much. So it was tough, certainly in the first half. We saw that out and we were comfortable. I know 1-0, it doesn't sound as if it's comfortable, but I felt we were always going to win the game. So in that respect, it was a good performance. And a wee special mention as well for Tav, because I thought Tav coming into the side, I thought he was excellent. So he looked as if he was energised, getting himself forward. And I thought he played with real quality with the boy Tierney down that right-hand side. So there was quite a few positives to come out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, St Johnstone only had 1 shot on target. I think we had about 10, and they only had about 39%. But Charlie, do you think we still need to be getting more goals, or would you be happy with that kind of 1-0 result against St Johnstone?
We play with 1 striker against anybody in Scotland, that whether it be Celtic, okay, the only one that could probably be is Celtic, that I would struggle is playing with one striker. Celtic maybe play tighter against them and not be 3-0 down after 10 minutes, as I said. But I still believe we don't need 2 sitting midfielders playing in the Scottish Premier League. And Barron and Raskin have been doing very well. Yes, I get it. I understand that. Find a position for maybe Barron further forward or Raskin further forward. I just think we're not hunting teams as much as you should. We pass in front of them. We've no pace. My worry is the pace. We've no pace to go by players. Bajrami's a very good football player, and I get it. I understand that. Tierney, who I've never been a fan of, he's a good football player, but he gets buffed off the ball too very easy. And Gammy, for me, well, he will be a very, very good football player. But I'd have played him and Danilo off each other or him and Dessers. But now, we've got rid of Dessers with a blink of an eye, and the guy scored maybe 50 goals in the last 2 seasons for us. And remember, we still have to make sure we look after this guy as well, because we're maybe going to need him very soon. It's a difficult situation. I just want us to be better in the final third. We've no pace, and that is what's killing me. And that is the only thing that makes me think why we can't really go forward, if you understand what I mean.
Right. Definitely. I'm just going to jump back. I know we've already been kind of briefly talking about the cup final, but there's Stuart Allison. He's saying Rodgers will already know our formation for the cup final. Clement is too predictable and stubborn. Do you think it is time to change it up then? And would you think he would, Derek?
He's not going to change it up, Ricki. It's clear to see. And I think that's a real worry. I mean, most of us can see that you could say he's pretty stubborn in terms of that. I think sometimes you've got to keep the opposition guessing. So he's going to go in with the same formation. Hopefully, we've got our better players, performing in a couple of weeks' time. And I tell you what, Hadji comes into that because I thought he was a real plus on Sunday because we need that wee bit of creativity, that wee bit of flair in the final third. Hadji gives you that. I listened to one of his interviews this afternoon, Ricki. I tell you what a level-headed boy he is. He's got his head screwed on. And we all know who his old man is. He was a fabulous football player. But it was really good to... It was a real good listen today in terms of... See, when he was in that B team playing, so easy to down tool, spit the dummy. But no, he went the other way. He thought, well, listen, I can help these guys as well, these young boys. So I thought that was he was a real plus point for us on Sunday as well, because we need that in the final third. I think Diamandi in there, I don't think he gives us that creativity. Charlie's been harping on about Bajrami, and I tend to agree with him. I'd have liked to have seen him in that number 10 role, but we were missing some players in the wider areas. We've got Cortez to come back, Matondo, but they guys are not going to be they're not going to be fit for this final. So yeah, Rodgers knows exactly how we play. My worry is, have we got the quality, and two, have we got the legs? Because that's what Celtic have got. They've got real quality, but they've got good legs, so they've got pace up front. The midfield are really dynamic, and I think that's where we could struggle a wee bit. But we should be preparing for that now. I hope the manager's thinking about that, because it's such a big game for him. If he doesn't win it, Charlie, listen, he's going to be struggling to keep his job, in my opinion.
Well, 100% I understand you're saying that we need legs. And
quality.
We need Sterling at right back. Sterling's got to play right back and kind of stuff it. Their main threat down the left-hand side, as in Maeda. Left-hand side, Jeff. I think Jeffy does all right. I think Jeffy's decent. Jeffy won't get tamed too much with Cooney. He'll understand he's a left-footed cell, and he'll be like, right, okay, this idiot's got to go inside, which we should obviously know. But I just feel, as a team, you're probably right. I think Diamandi hesitated a wee step back because I don't think he's been as good as... I think Diamandi will be a very good football player. Ricki, what's happening, Ricki?
I'm still here.
So I think Diamandi will be a very good football player, but at the moment, things aren't working for him. I think Connor Barron and Raskin are doing a good shift, but at Rangers Football Club, we need more than that. We need to be playing, whether it be Dessers and Ngami or Danilo and Ngami. But for me, at the moment, Ngami is probably the first one. After his performance in midweek, I know people saying he's playing against a certain midfield player, or he was playing against Nice, who won the best team. He still showed more than I've seen for Dessers in the last few months. And I think Ngami could cause them problems. And I think going two up front could cause Celtic problems. But as you said, Philip Clement will never change his system. And that is a big, big problem. See, if you don't want to change your system, you've got a problem. Hello, Derek.
I think Ricky's disappeared. By the way, I think he's maybe having a few technical problems. I know he's getting a lot of work done in his house, and maybe he's been sidetracked with that. But no, I totally agree with what you're saying, Charlie, there. In terms of, that's a real frustration from my point of view, is that he will only change the system. I think sometimes you can't always just go with plan A, and the plan A ain't working. And for the most part, it hasn't been working. I think that's when you've got to have a plan B, and if you're at Rangers, a plan C. So that's how we're all kind of disappointed in terms of when you see us domestically, we struggle, and we struggle because that's it. There's some good managers in our league. They know their stuff. They know how to set up against us. They know how to frustrate us, and that's why we've struggled. And I think that's why in Europe we've been better because teams are more open. They have a go against us. So it's something that manager needs to learn.
But Derek, the thing is, Celtic are going to be open against us, but we play so open against them, and we're not good enough to play open against them. That's my worry. If we think we can go and just try and go toe-to-toe with them, then we're knackered.
Are you back,
Right, guys?
Ricki?
Aye, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Crack on, mate.
Aye,
What I'm saying
I
is
don't know
that
what's that.
go toe-to-toe with Celtic, they will beat us. We have to be hard to beat. We have to be defensively minded, hit them in counter-attack, and take it for there. That is my worry. Because we don't want to be 3-0 down after 10 minutes, which we've been a few times at Parkhead. Because they came out all guns blazing, and we look like idiots sitting there, standing there and going, oh, what just happened there?
I think we've got to maybe throw in a wee curveball, and change it up. But that would be my thinking. But we won't, and I don't see him doing that because he's clearly says that he's worked on this during the close season, and I think he's actually in one of these interviews says that it's too late to change it. It's been bedded in. The players know the system, and he ain't going to change it. So that seems a problem in itself.
Well, if we said that, then I'm disappointed because just go two up front. Celtic, any other team in Europe at the moment don't understand what it's like to play against twos. Centre halves look very, very good football players now because they play against one striker and they pass it a bit. They end up with the highest, ratio of passes in the whole season because they just pass it amongst each other. That's a lot of rubbish. Not one pass goes forward. Everyone goes. Oh, not one pass. I'll tell a lie. Sorry. So 95% of the passes go sideways. See if you've got two strikers up front against them, then you put them under severe pressure. Then you go, right, what you got to do now? You're daddy. Because they're no great players, and I don't care what anybody says. Cameron Vickers, Celtic need Cameron Vickers because he's probably our best centre back. But pressure him. He's a daddy. But
Right. I was just going to say, see for the start of the season, obviously we were quite kind of criticised a lot of the new signings that came in. They just weren't good enough for Rangers. Is any of them have you changed your mind on any of them? Has anybody kind of had a good turnaround, do you think?
Well, but we know Bajrami's a good player. He's been brought in. Tierney on loan. It's you can't argue with the goals he scored. But you can't argue with the goals he scored. And I know, Charlie. I don't think he's your cup of tea. But what we've got to acknowledge, he has been one of the positives. So we are relying on guys like that at the minute. In terms of Tierney producing the goods, and I think that's even. On Sunday, I think that's why he was took off because we're trying to protect him, we're trying to keep him fit, we're trying to keep him healthy. So yeah, it's good to see Danilo back because we need that in there because he's a clever boy, clever football player. Eggman as well, young boy, but he shouldn't be a prospect. We've spent a few bob on him, so it's good to see him on the grass and producing. So. Listen, there is one or two positives, but there is one or two negatives. And the negative for me, and I mentioned them earlier, I think the boy Proper just not suited to our game. I don't think he's enjoying it, and that in itself, that's a problem because if the opposition knows that he's not enjoying it, doesn't fancy this type of football that we play in this country, they're going to be all over him like a rash. So we've got a few issues as well as a few positives.
Well, I don't agree. I think Balogun starts cup final no matter what. Even if he's got one hamstring, it starts. As you said, Derek, Proper struggling. I think we start with, did you call him Sterling at right back? I know he's got a problem with a wee bit of a trapped nerve. You get whatever the trapped nerve is. Is it in his brain? I don't know. I really don't know it because I begin to annoy me with these wee trapped things and wee trapped nerves here and whatever. You just play the bloody game. Sterling is now our number one right back. I would play Tav in front of him, and I've always been one that says Tav can't play in that situation. I don't think Tav can play the one ahead. But we play against Celtic, we need people with athleticism. Cherny does not start from me in the cup fight. I know it's got looks away, but Cherny does not start from me. We play Bajrami behind the number 9 because he'll no change it. But I'd love him to go bugger it. Let's go 4-1-3-2 or something like that. But then he's going to have to take his wee Raskin or his wee corner Barron in the middle of the park. But we'll just push one him up a wee bit more and give him a wee energy there, and then play Bajrami behind Ngami. I think something's got to change because, as you said, Derek, Celtic know what we're going to play, and they just their subs are better, and unfortunately, than some of your starting lineup, and it is very, very disappointing. Because we could
Charlie, that's a great point because
for about £1 million, I didn't pay it for him.
Aye, Charlie, that's a great point because even you touch on the bench, that's a real worry as well because you look at Celtic's bench compared to ours, and I looked at it on Sunday, and I was thinking, I'm going, who's the player that could come on and make a real impact? And we're looking at guys like Dowell, maybe even young McCausland. I don't want to be too critical of the young boy because I do like him. But then you look and you go, who else could come on and make a difference? So that's where we're going to struggle as well. And that's why you're touching on the Celtic bench. They've got players that can come on and make a real difference. So there's another issue, another problem that we've got. That strength and depth, it's not quite there.
Aye. Right, like I said last week, I was telling you guys that I'm going up to host a gig with Graham Souness up in Stornoway in January.
Yeah, right, good for you.
I know, but I've actually managed to get a couple of tickets for his show in Ayr, so we're going to do a wee competition. So if you want to win them, all you need to do is go onto our YouTube channel and comment Souness in this video, and then next week we'll pick a winner. But I've got a wee message for Souness and us. I'll play that now.
Hi there, it's Graham Souness. I'll be appearing at the Ayr Town Hall on Friday the 10th of January 2025. I'll be telling a few football stories and some non-football stories. Do try and make it. Guaranteed some laughs. See you there.
One thing about the fucking bastard.
I don't know what you said there. I need to believe a few things.
Got that. By the way,
one thing about the podcast.
I tell you what, Ricki, it's great to see him looking well, isn't it?
Great to see him looking well when you hated him, you cunt.
No, never. There you go. That's a lie. I speak often about it because I think a lot of people have got this this thought process that I didn't like him because listen, he done the exact. We're cutting across each other here.
Aye, Charlie needs to turn his phone down a bit.
Aye, Ricki, what I was going to say at the time that I left Rangers, it was a right call with Graham because listen, he's there as the Rangers manager. He's there to win league titles and cups. So I mean, I was struggling with injury at that time, and maybe my discipline wasn't the greatest. So it was the right call with Graham Souness. I was in his company. It was last year. There was a guy going that I was involved in, and you know something, it was absolutely brilliant to be in his company because I enjoyed. Listen, one, playing with him. One, he was my manager. I've got the utmost respect for Graham Souness, and I'm genuinely mean this. It's great to see him looking well because he's had some health scares as well. Obviously, his heart. It was an issue about 6-7 weeks ago as well. So no, it's magic to see him looking well.
Charlie, you need to turn your phone down. It's feeding back and we're hearing ourselves.
How's that now?
Let's see, is that any better?
Bloody clue how to do that.
No, you need to turn it down again. So I'll just need to, you know, Charlie, if you turn down your phone, it keeps on echoing and all that. Hi, Derek. No, so that's going to be a good night up in Tingley, but also he's doing the Ayr, Hamilton and Dunfermline as well. So if you want to win tickets, all you need to do is type in Soonest in the chat, and then we'll pick a winner next week. Right, so we've got Kilmarnock tomorrow night. They're sitting 10th in the league. Derek, how do we approach that one?
Well, we approach it with a positivity, with an intensity, because one thing we've got to do, Ricki, we've got to get the fans behind us right away, because Derek McInnes is not just good manager, he's a very clever guy. So he'll come with a game plan, and the game plan will be pretty much the same as Dundee United. They'll try to kind of soak up the pressure, and then they'll try and hit us in the break. And they've got the players to do that as well. They've got the players in the wide areas, i.e. Armstrong. They've got even, I think it was Gary Mackay-Stevens come back into the fray at the weekend. They've got a bit of power up top as well with Vassell. So listen, we've got to be on our game. We've got to be really at it. And you would expect that, Ricki, because everybody knows that the form in the league hasn't been great. We haven't dominated a game, for me, start to finish. Now, we've got a great opportunity tomorrow night at home, playing against us. Listen, that's a side that are bottom of the table, near the bottom of the table, and have been struggling of late, which is a bit of a surprise, but they've got some good players, some real good players in there. But from your point of view, let's put a statement down. Let's go out and win that game. Can we win it with scoring a few goals? We've touched on that already as well, because we're not scoring enough, we're not creating enough. So we need to do something to give us a level of confidence getting into these next 2-3 games that takes us up into the League Cup final. But we need something, we need better all round in terms of a collective and individually. So I think it's a big game. It's a game that I hope that we can go and win it and do it in a real positive manner.
Right, Charlie, obviously you're good friends, ex-teammate with Derek McInnes. What do you think of him as a manager?
It's a difficult one for me because I'm friendly with him, and do I want him to get Rangers job? Well, I don't want to say too much about the situation because we've still got a manager in the job. We could probably have had Muskie before Clement and whatever, because I know Muskie as well. But I really don't want to speak about managers who are in other jobs and say that he could do this or he could do that, because I'm putting pressure on him right away. I just want Clement to get his tactics right. I just want him to do things better. I want the players to understand and see if they're not understanding what Clement wants, then they need to go. But at the moment, we're a long way behind Celtic. European results, by the way, it's been incredible. I cannot believe Nice are ahead of. That shows you how much Lyon are inconsistent as well, because they were incredible against us. But I just think we need to get behind the team in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can get a few results. We get 2 results this week were very good. And do we want Aberdeen to win tomorrow night? Yes, of course we do, because we still believe, well, I still believe we can win the league, because Clement said to us the boys will be hitting their stride in November. I'm not yet to see it, or October, whatever it says. And I really want to believe him. I really do. And I want him to be right. But at the moment, just let's beat Kilmarnock tomorrow night. Let's put a show on, show them how good we can be, and beat them 3 or 4-0, and then we go, right, okay, bang, into Sunday's game against Ross County, I think it is. Probably an away game again, and then Thursday away in the cup final, we'll get 3 days rest or 2 days rest when Celtic play on the Tuesday night, which doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't know why they play the final at that time of year when there's so many games. But anyway, we have to deal with it. We have to go on with it. But I'm sure we can get a few good results in the next few games and let the fans get behind Clement and the players. And Clement can maybe go in surprises and go, we're going 2 up front, and we can hurt teams. I honestly believe we can hurt teams if we get Ngami. And by the way, Dessers and Ngami playing up front together, I believe we could hurt teams. And with a wide man, I honestly believe we could. But Clement's got his own way.
Score predictions brought to you by Avia Signs.
Okay, score predictions sponsored by Avia Signs. So
Right.
Rangers Kilmarnock. What's yours? I'll go to you, Charlie, first.
I'm going to go 3-0 Rangers.
Derek?
I'd love it to be 3-0, but I think we'll win by a couple of goals. 2-0 I would be happy with, to be honest with you. But a good performance and control the game from start to finish, that would do me.
All right, I'll go for a 3-0 as well, I think. What about Sunday, 12 noon? Ross County are sitting 8th in the league. Derek, you can go first this time.
Aye, again, it's a difficult venue, as we well know. Getting back to last season, still hurts when you think about that. So I just think because the final it will be looming, and of course the Spurs game, I just think then the guys start to think about their own performance. They start to think, right, I want to be playing in the Spurs game. I want to be playing in the final against Celtic. So I definitely think we'll get a win. I think it'll be tight. I would take a 1-0 again, the same as the St Johnstone game as well. 1-0.
Right. Charlie?
I think it'll be 2-1 against Ross County, because Ross County always seem to cause us a problem. And I think we'll win 2-1. Tomorrow night, as I said, 3-0. But I hope I'm not clutching at straws, wanting us to, just because my heart wants us to win. But let's see.
There's Ali Quinn saying he thinks it'll be 6-1 tomorrow.
Hope so.
I know. Anyway, I'm afraid that's us at the end of the podcast already. We'll probably be back in the studio next week. We're just kind of got a lot on this week. And Derek, how was your knee? Anyway, you on the mend?
Nah, it's not very good, but that's par for course. Just waiting an operation early into next year, so hopefully get it sorted. All
right, but once again, thank you to all our sponsors, and we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Take care.
Cheers. Brought to you by our sponsors. The JR Group. Plugged in Business Solutions. DB Dental Care. Reflex Blue. The Right Software. Dev Provider. And Avia Signs. Our chosen charity partner is the Second Chance Project. We are now official agents for the Rangers Lotto. Find out more at www.allaboutthegers.co.uk.